Hey, how's it going? Steven here. So today we're going to be trying out a new format, and this format is going to be a lot more casual, right? It's not going to be me just reading off a script. I think this format is going to be a lot more authentic. Also, this format is going to be mixed with my real-time findings. Please let me know down below whether if you like this format or you prefer just not seeing my face. Whichever works for you, sound off down below. The Pivot 2 Pro is a brand new product in the Pivot lineup for Propel. I think anybody first thought when they hear about Pivot 2 Pro is that, oh, is this going to be the next level for the Pivot series? From my understanding by talking to Jeff, the owner of Propel, that the Pivot 2 Pro is going to be kind of on the same level as the Pivot 1 GT. They're kind of interchangeable with different characteristics. If there's ever going to be an upgrade, it's going to be the Propel 2 GT that's going to be upgrading the performance parts. The Propel 2 Pro is more like modernizing the skateboard and changing the right characteristics a little bit. So if you're looking at the pivot boards, you should be kind of comparing the characteristics of both boards that performs very similarly in terms of acceleration and deceleration. It's not going to be like a generational leap. And that generational leap, if it happens, is going to be the Propel 2 GT. With that context in mind, let's go to the next page. So the first thing I want to do is to compare the original Pivot GT to the now new Pivot 2 Pro. What are the differences? Oh, and by the way, the Pivot GT is still going to be produced, still being sold on the website in parallel to the Pivot 2 Pro. At this time, it's just going to be like two separate choices. It's not going to be like the Pivot 2 Pro kind of takes away the original Pivot. That's not happening. So I have a friend, believe it or not, I do have friends. This friend, he actually purchased his own Propel Pivot GT. He owned it for about 2 years and put on roughly 2,000 miles on this electric skateboard. Absolutely beat the crap out of it. So I met up with him and I give him the board. I'm like, ride it, tell me everything that you think is different, everything that you think improved, everything that you think went backwards. Just tell me everything that you think about this new Propel 2 Pro versus the original Pivot GT that you have. First, the turning is still great, but is a lot more stable. This friend I have, he doesn't like to carve. He's not the carving kind. So he kind of hated the double Kimpin trucks. As soon as he got on these traditional Kimpin trucks, he was just going, rocketing. I couldn't even catch up to him. The new TKP trucks and the geometry of this new truck enables the Pivot 2 GT to ride at incredible high speeds with exceptional stability. And that is kind of like the defining factor and the defining difference between the 2 Pro versus the original GT. When I'm on this board, I can easily hit 30 miles per hour and not feel sketchy at all. With that being said, the bushings that's included in stock are 2 barrel bushings. These bushings are slightly more firm than what I would like, so it restricts a lot of movement. If you are kind of like a carvy type of guy, you might want to invest in some rip-type bushings to kind of enable you to carve as hard as possible. You can still carve very well on the board. It just takes a little bit more effort, a little bit more energy than the double Kimpin trucks. But the reward that you get is you can also go super fast without any wobbles, and it's truly magic. Propel is also coming out with new 108 wheels that's supposed to pair with these type of boards, and the geometry of the board is currently designed for that new wheel. The next part I want to talk about is a slight increase in terms of torque. The Propel 2 Pro moved on from the Dongxingwei 6374 motors, the DXW 7364 motors, to Hobbywing 6370 motors. Dimension-wise, the motors got just tiny little bit shorter, but this motor should be able to produce a little bit more torque, a little bit more power. And that is also one thing my friend immediately noticed. The difference is very small, but it is there. You can notice a very slight difference in increase in power. This is not for the current pivot riders to run out there and say like, oh, I'm going to ditch my old pivot and buy the Pivot 2 Pro. The difference is not super significant enough for current users to upgrade, but I would say if you're looking for a brand new board, hell yeah, this is a perfect time to grab that. The next one is the motor pinning cover is kind of changed. Before it was a super simple plastic, very flimsy, but this one, it's bigger, it's stronger, it just looks a lot more massive and definitely a lot more protective. And one of the things that he also noticed was more braking power. He said the original Pivot was very soft in terms of braking power, that he almost always wanted more braking power, and it keeps on rolling longer than what he likes. With a new ESC, a new controller, with a new braking curve, the brakes are a lot more stronger. But it doesn't lock up on standard roads. If you're on slippery asphalt, it might slip just a little bit. It's a very smooth yet firm brake curve that I think is very reminiscent of a standard hobby wing. If you have tried any hobby wing boards and you slam on the brakes, this would feel very similar to that. One of the most significant things that's changed on the Pivot 2 Pro is the new ESC. The current new ESC is using a hobby wing derivative. The previous one was a Ling E derivative. The Ling E derivatives are usually a lot more jerky. Once you swap to the Pivot 2 Pro, you'll be missing some features from Ling E ESCs. So here are some differences. The number one thing is no more kickstart, right? Ling E ESC is famous for their kickstarts. You just kick the board, let it roll for a little bit, and the whole thing turns on. For hobby wing, it's kind of like a waiting period, an idle period that you can set. It's usually about 1 to 7 days that you can pick. And once it's past that, they do have to bend down and press the power button manually to connect the boards. Not a super big deal, but I think for my friend here, he was so used to the kickstart and he's just super mad that it doesn't happen. I guess as for me, I don't care about that kind of feature, but for him, it's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that feature is not there. Okay, so it does have a smart reverse function. What this means is without deliberately going into reverse mode, you can just hold the backup button and the board slowly moves backwards. This is very good when you're on the hill and you're facing downhill. When you have this feature turned on, you can slowly apply backwards power to enable you to stay on the hill or even to back up if you're too far into the traffic. How to get to this point is click the function button 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you'll go into the menu. And then in the menu, go to number 7. Number 7 will say driver frequency. Click the power button once to enter. And once you enter, there's like 0 to 5. Only 0 and 1 matters. 0 is to turn this function off, and 1 is to turn this function on. So by default, this function is off. So now, whenever you're riding and you're facing downhill and you want to apply backwards power, it's available for you. Or if you want to slowly reverse. Very, very cool feature. One of the other things that we notice is a more shallow drag angle on the new 2 Pro. Say if you run out of battery and you're just dragging this board along with you, the motor protector that's on the bottom side would scrape the ground at a very shallow angle, right? So if you're like a normal height human and you start to drag it, it would almost immediately start to scrape the ground. So one of the things that you can do is just to carry it on the opposite head side, the heavier side. And of course, the color is different. You now have a white Stormtrooper looking deck. The deck looks absolutely fantastic. It is such a nice looking deck. Makes it very unique and very eye-catchy. However, it gets dirty very easily. I'm also going to kind of give you a long-term review on whether if this white will yellow over a longer period of time. But as right now, under the sun for a couple hours, it's fine. It gets dirty too easily. If I were to buy a Propel Pivot GT and I see the white option, I would have bought it too. As expected, it's probably going to get dirtier much quicker than a gloss black board. So that's it when it comes to the comparison with the Pivot GT versus the Pivot 2 Pro. As you can see, there's not a lot of huge difference. The drivetrain is almost the same. The acceleration and deceleration feel is almost the same, except it's slightly stronger, but not strong enough for you to ditch the Pivot GT. The power balance and the battery pack, it's almost neck to neck. You just basically pick the pick different boards because you like different ESCs or you like different truck systems on these two boards. Okay, let's talk about some key takeaways that I observed when I'm riding the board. I do have to mention again, number one, TKP. I love this TKP right now. It is super stable and high speeds. As you can see in my videos, I'm not carving too much. Carving does take a little bit more effort, but most of my rides and most people who try my board just naturally want to go fast on this board because it is so damn stable. It is a lot less playful. Of course, you can tune it to be more playful by having smaller wheels and changing the bushings. But as for me, I currently like this high-speed setup. I do have a lot of other carved boards, so I do want to keep this board's original stock configuration and its original vision without changing it too much. Plus, I've already gotten the 108 wheels that's meant for this board, so there's definitely a follow-up test video. The next thing is how quiet it is. It is using a belt drive system. Belt drives are usually a lot louder, but for some reason, this system just feels very quiet to me. I don't know why. It's compared to other belt drives, which screams. This one just sounds like it's a gear drive. It's very, very quiet. It's not a noisy, look at me type of belt drive. The stock bushings are pretty good. Again, they lean more on the stiffer side. The lean angles are great for how stiff they are. The materials used on the stock bushings are not very bouncy. They're not very playful. It's more like you squish down and you lean down. It doesn't rebound you back as much. At least that's how it feels to me. So it maintains that carve angle, it maintains stability. There's not a lot of bounciness or wobbliness going on where you're going at high speeds. It maintains lanes. So if you try to carve with this bushing, you're not going to feel a lot of rebound. It's going to feel very mechanical. It's going to feel a little bit harsher, a little more energy required to do carving. You see me on the video right now. I'm doing a lot of, it does look like I'm carving pretty good, but that's me very deliberately trying to carve as hard as I can. And that's about the best I can do. I think if you get more playful bushings from the Riptide crank, you're going to see better results. While maintaining most of the stability. Also, that comes with the 2 Pro is the Bravura quick release hubs. These are brand new, so all you have to do is remove 4 screws and you can take the top cap off. So this way you can change tires, change your flats without taking the hub off of the axles. This makes everything super convenient, and all you have to do is to carry an Allen key. With their design, you don't have to mess with the locking ring. You just literally screw it to lock the locking ring in place. So it's screw activated and locked instead of kind of a spinning mechanism that depends, because the limb how it's designed, right? It requires your tires to have enough air in it. If you get a flat and the things completely deflates, then your locking ring might get loose and that might get dangerous. But this way, with the Bravura design, it's not as quick, but it's much safer when it comes to execution, when it comes to running. Because if you're going 30 miles per hour and you get a flat, this thing keeps the tires on. The very last thing I want to talk about is a wheel bite situation. If you turn as hard as you can in a U-turn stop turn, there is a pretty good chance that you will get a wheel bite. I was carving on the street with the stock bushings. I didn't get any wheel bites. I did a lot of aggressive turns and stuff like that in a parking lot. Also no wheel bite. But what got me to a wheel bite was that I was trying to do a U-turn and I was trying to test and see what is the most tightest U-turn that I can do. That requires me to pick up a little bit of speed and then turn as hard as I can. And that was when I caught a little bit of wheel bite. Didn't throw me off, but I definitely felt I definitely heard something. I felt a slowdown too. Definitely left a marking on the white electric skateboard. There's 3 things that you can do to mitigate that. Number 1 is you need a riser. Just raise it by about 5 millimeters, then you won't have this problem. Or reduce the diameter of your wheels by about 10 millimeters. If you reduce the diameter by 10 millimeters, that means you reduce the radius by 5 millimeters. That is good enough to not catch wheel bite again. I did ask Javin, the owner of Propel, and he did tell me that when they designed this board, they designed it with the 108 wheels, the brand new street wheels that they have in mind. This is more of an extreme circumstance. I think unless you carve really hard, or if you lean on the heavier side, you're not going to see an issue. But still, it is an issue that needs to be addressed. I think these three solutions, any one of them, super simple, should be able to work. And also, Javin has a fourth solution in which he can introduce a lock. You can get a lock for your bushings, and this would decrease the amount of tilt for your front trucks. So you don't need to raise the board, you don't need to make your axles longer, or you don't need to make the wheels smaller. You just add that limiter to your deck and it should be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transform this board to a street board with their new 108 wheels. Just use it in a way that it's designed. It's catching, one of the reasons why this board is catching a little bit of wheel bites is because it's swapped from a double kingpin truck to a traditional kingpin truck. The base of the traditional kingpin truck was reduced. With that reduction, the axle of the wheel actually got closer to the board. By what I can see, it's about an inch. So the axle got closer to the board. It makes sense if you're using the same tires as the previous Pivot GT. To be honest, for me, I did not think that was going to be like a huge issue. Also not for my friend, who was the way that he was riding it, so we did not see this type of issue. But it doesn't mean we should be ignoring it. It's a very simple fix, but it still kind of just bothers me ever so slightly. So yeah, there you have it, the Pivot 2 Pro. The Pivot 2 Pro is not meant to replace the current GT. It's meant to live side by side. You get a choice on different ESCs, but you'll mostly have the same power, the same drivetrain, the same battery. The deck color is a little bit different. The trucks is a TKP, it's CNC'd. It's a little bit nicer. It's meant to ultimately give the user, such as you, more choices on what you want when you're choosing a 2-in-1 electric skateboard that's under $1,000. Still, even with the Wheelbite, I still think this is a truly formidable electric skateboard under $1,000 that's also carbon fiber. There's very few good electric skateboards that also puts out this much of power and now this much choices under $1,000. If you know any boards that's carbon fiber and about $1,000, let me know down below. And also, if you have any questions, please also let me know in the comment section down below. I'll communicate with Javin and find solutions. Oh yeah, remember, I am also giving away a free drone by the end of June. All you have to do is to comment in the comment section anything that you want, and you'll be entered for that free drone drawing. Each video gives you an additional chance to comment and be entered to a drawing. Thanks, good luck, and I'll see you on the next one.